welcome to Career Girl Chats Season 2, Episode 16. My name is Anna O, and I am the founder of Career Girl Lifestyle. I am so happy because today is our season finale episode, and we will be joined by not one, not two, but three amazing women, and we will be talking about the topic of getting out of your own way and manifesting the life of your dreams. Now, these three women all have something in common. They are all mindset coaches, and they are dedicated to helping women thrive in every area of their lives. So today we will be joined by Kristy Love, who is the founder of Kristy Fix My Mind, Makini Smith, who is the founder of A Walk in My Stilettos, and Kristie Lacy, who is the founder of K-Love Consulting. So typically I do the bios for all of my guests, but these women, their stories are so phenomenal, and what they're doing within their organizations is so phenomenal. So I would love for them to introduce themselves to you. But before I bring them on, I just wanted to tell everyone that's watching, thank you so much for supporting Career Girl Chats. I mean, this season, I really stretched myself. I really talked about a lot of topics that we didn't discuss in season 1. So I'm just really happy and just really appreciative of everyone that's, been supporting, that's subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that's just been giving us some amazing feedback. So thank you all. I am going to stop talking and I'm going to invite tonight's guest in because I'm really excited for this conversation.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, ladies? Thank you for joining me tonight for Career Girl Chats.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so excited to be here.
I'm really excited too. Okay, so since there are three of you guys, I want to make sure, well, three of you ladies, I should say, I want to make sure that things aren't getting confusing. So I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves in order of how I see y'all on my screen. So first we're going to start off with Makini, then we're going to go to Miss Kristy Love, and then we're going to go to Chris. Okay? All right. So just introduce yourselves, tell us about your organizations and what you ladies do as mindset coaches.
Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this as short and sweet as possible. Okay, so my name is Makini Smith. I am a single mother of 3. I'm a certified mindset coach. I'm a 4-time published author, and I'm the host of the Walk in My Stilettos podcast. So essentially, I help women to basically use their personal stories to build impactful brands through mindset, through book publishing, and through creating their own podcast. It's really about just using our stories to create prosperity and legacy and continue to build and share each other's stories.
I love it. Miss Kristy Love.
Hi, everybody. So I am Kristy Love. I am, of course, a mindset and manifestation coach. I'm also certified as an NLP practitioner. So my overall goal when it comes down to mindset is to help individuals that are struggling with getting out of survival mode. It's something that a lot of people are obviously living in. So I help them to remove the limitations that they've placed on themselves, reprogram their mindset for success so they can get the results that they're actually looking for. I've been doing specifically mindset coaching for 3 years and life coaching for about 6 years. I believe, and I am from Detroit, Michigan. So if we have any Detroit viewers, hey y'all.
All right, and Chris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Coach Chris, the Purpose Mindset Coach. I empower ambitious moms to break through mental and emotional barriers. I help women who are dealing with imposter syndrome to eliminate self-sabotage, to build their confidence so that they can just thrive in life and business. Absolutely love what I do. I love empowering women. Of course, my target audience is moms, but I work with all women who are ready to do the work, to get out of their own way and really do the work that it takes that's necessary to achieve their goals. So
yes, that's
excited
amazing.
to be here.
And I see we have a fourth co-host.
Yes. This is Alexander the Greatest. And he's here joining us tonight because he couldn't leave mommy alone. So he's 7 weeks. So he loves being on me.
I love it. Thank you so much, ladies, again for joining me for tonight's episode. So when you ladies hear the statement "getting out of your own way," what does that mean to you? Tell me a little bit. Well, tell us a little bit about your stories of how you ladies got in your way, and when you decided, okay, I need to get out of my own way if I want to. Get to where I want to be in life. So we're going to start with you again, Makini.
Of course. So one of my favorite quotes is from my mentor, Bob Proctor, and he says that the only limits in life are those that we impose on ourselves. So basically, we are limitless. It's just we are the ones that are putting that limit on ourselves. And a lot of the women that come to me have similar issues that I had in the past, where I was allowing self-doubt. I was allowing, the thoughts and opinions of other people, all of those things to get in my own way. And essentially, we are limitless. We just need to stop listening to that negative self-talk and the negative talk of other people and their opinions. I honestly, if I had listened to the thoughts and opinions of other people, I wouldn't be where I am today. I talk about being severely introverted and, a different personality from what people perceive me to be sometimes. And I came out of my comfort zone to write my books and share my story. I came out of my comfort zone. I come out of my comfort zone every day to put reels on social media. It's about getting out of my own way and the limiting beliefs that I have about myself.
Yes. Kristy Love.
So I just want to say shout out to her for mentioning that Bob Proctor is her mentor, because I literally got out of my own way this year by signing up for Bob Proctor's coaching program, which was the biggest investment that I ever did in my life. But I always said that I wanted to work with Bob Proctor. I be the Black female version of Bob Proctor. And for those of you who don't know Bob Proctor is, please look him up. He is the whole reason why majority of us are here today teaching mindset and manifestation. So I got my own way, and it refers to the stick figure that Bob Proctor has, really understanding that how I feel about a lot of my goals, desires, manifestations, how I feel is the biggest, key, and most important thing. How I feel is always going to lead me to take some type of action that I can get some type of result. So I had to pay attention to the results that I was getting. I wasn't feeling as confident that I could sell out of my program. I was able to do the last couple of months, a program that I would easily sell out. And how I got is identifying what my motivations were and deciding that this doesn't have to be a part of me. This is not part of my story. My motivation starts to become a part of my personality, and I had to detach myself from that and listen, do you want this or do you want that? And it was simply me making a decision and understanding how it felt for me to win. Once I got a taste of that, I literally never looked back.
Yes. All right. Alexander the Great and Chris.
So for me, I recognized really that I was standing in my own way. And I don't know if am I okay to share any part of my story? Because that's.
Of course. Yes, definitely.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't want to get into it too early, but the reality is for me, I was a young mom and I got married. I got pregnant my sophomore year of college, my undergrad, and I ended up getting married very young. But I found myself I was in an abusive relationship. But when my daughter was 2, I found myself evicted in the middle of a Chicago winter. And at the time, my husband completely abandoned us with no one around to he just left, right? And so at that point, after I was living in my sister's basement with my 2-year-old, and I was a master's program student at the time, getting my master's in communication and training. And, it was one night where my daughter was crying, asking for her father, and I didn't have an answer for her. And it was that moment where I kind of, it's like a movie where I kind of zoned out and I could hear her screaming in the background, but I'm thinking in my mind, how did I get here? And I just realized that I had settled for so much in my life. And as much as I knew that I was called to do great things, or that, I mean, honestly, I was getting my master's degree. Like, my education was extremely important to me. I was building great networks of people, but my home life was very dysfunctional. And I just realized, like, at that moment, like, I'm never going to be compromised like this again. I'm never going to be in my own way by settling for less than what I truly deserve or I desire. And so in that very moment, I made up my mind that I was going to do something different. I did get a divorce, and that's when I started my self-love journey that landed me here. There's more to share to that, but that's mostly it. I was in my own way for too much of my life. I had too many plans for myself, and I made my mind up that I was never going to have my daughter live the life or find herself in the same situation I was in. And so I started my journey that led me to becoming a coach.
Yes, I love that story. And this is a safe space, so you all can, share your stories as well, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But like I told each of you ladies earlier on our own chats, like, I just think your stories are so inspiring, especially as coaches, because there's so many coaches today on Instagram, but you don't really know what makes them credible to do what they do. And I believe that your stories are what make you women so wonderful for what it is that you're doing, because there's so many women, who want greater, and they're striving for greater, but they're in their own way because of those things that they're going through and because of that negative self-talk. So I just think what you ladies are doing is just so necessary and so important. And again, like, I'm just really honored to, share this space. Why is having the right mindset so important to manifesting your dreams, ambitions, your goals, and just ultimately the kind of life that you want?
Everything happens twice, right? It happens first in the spiritual before it happens in that. And for anyone who is not, I'm going to say, of the spiritual, who doesn't believe in, faith-based or Christianity, it first happens through a vision and then happens in the natural. So it's important to have a vision of what you want for your life. And most people will talk about working towards the vision, but it's actually coming from that vision and working backwards, taking the steps to get there. So I think some of the key things that people don't think about when it comes to manifestation, like, there's so many different parts to it, but to my understanding, if we are on a high vibration, if we are feeling good, if we are high in spirits, it's much faster and easier to attract what we want because we are open. If we are negative, if we are in a space of doubt, worry, fear, if we allow all of those viruses to come into our mind, then that blocks the doorway for the manifestation for what it is that you're, trying to get to. So being able to be in a high vibration when you are thinking about the positive things that you want, that you're visualizing, being able to do things from a place of service. If you're coming from ego, again, you're blocking that doorway. So coming from a place of service of how can you help someone else? How can you provide solutions for other people? Being able to, for me, it's about the strong faith and belief of making that thing possible. Because if you believe you want something, if you don't actually believe that it's possible, then it's not going to happen, right?
Right.
And I think the last part is being patient. I think oftentimes people are trying to manifest things, but they want it now. We're in this microwave generation where, you have a vision of something, but you're like, I expect God to give that to me tomorrow. But if you are not in the right space to receive that, to hold on to that, then you're not going to get it right now. So being patient and developing who you are as a person so that you are able to receive that. And sometimes, you may pray for something, or ask for something, or manifest something, and you may even be receiving that right now, but you're not receiving it in the negative mindset and state that you were in. It's gone to that truer self of you, waiting for you to arrive there to receive it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Kristy?
So, excuse me. So I think that I always tell people mindset is key and mindset is everything. So an hour ago, I just got off a call with a client, and she was saying, like, wow, I didn't know that I could start with my limitations first. And I'm like, well, I can't help you if you don't know, like, what's stopping you. So we have to start with our limitations first. Any excuses, barriers, obstacles are holding us back, so that we can kind of determine what action steps we need to take, what reprogramming that we need to do. Also, when it comes down to mindset and goals or desires or whatever it is that you're going after, there has to be some type of discipline and some type of consistency. I always tell people you have to stay consistent in your discipline. So whatever it is that you are going after, that you have to create habits for, behaviors for, you have to be able to stay consistent with that. And if you don't have the mindset to win, or if you don't embody the mindset of somebody that is making six figures, or that has their weight goal, or has that new job, car, whatever it is, that you may be going after, if you don't have that mindset, like she said, and you don't believe that it's something possible for you, then it's not. People do struggle when it comes down to manifestation because they want it right away. But a lot of people do not feel good about the things that they're going after. They're just like, oh, okay, everybody's stating like their positive affirmations, positive vibes, positive vibes. It doesn't work like that. If you do not feel good about what you're going after, then it's kind of hard for you to become a vibrational match for what it is that you actually want. So what I always tell people is that you, like Bob Proctor says, you have to live at the end of your goal or your desire. So if I am the type of coach that gets six-figure clients, then when it comes down to my money or things like that, I'll be like, oh, I got this. Like, I'm a six-figure coach. My program is going to be sold out, and I consistently see that in my head every day. So now these thoughts and these feelings are becoming programmed within me and helping me to develop that six-figure mindset that I need.
Yes, I love that. What you said reminds me of one of my favorite quotes that I see on Instagram all the time. I'm sure you ladies have seen it. It says like, decide the woman that you want to become and start showing up as her every single day. So even if you had 2 clients, you were still going to show up for those clients like that six-figure coach. You have to already be that woman before you get to that destination. I love that. Living at the end of your goal. I love that. Chris.
Yeah, so without being too redundant, because obviously, because we're in the same vein, we have similar thoughts. But I am a faith-based coach. That's why I'm the purpose mindset coach. And with that, I believe, like the word of God says, as a man or as a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. And so what does that mean? It's like, how do you think with your heart? Well, you start with your thoughts. Everything begins with the thought. If you think something consistently enough, it becomes a belief. And that's when you begin to think in your heart, because you're feeling it in your heart. You know, that love feeling, that any emotion you're experiencing a lot, you feel it in your chest, right? And so as a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. She becomes the very thing that she consistently thinks about. And so we are a manifestation of our thoughts. Your life around you right now is a manifestation of your thoughts. And so if you're not happy with where you are, then you need to change the way that you're thinking. And if you are happy where you are and you want more, then you're going to have to level up the way that you're thinking. And so your thoughts becomes your feelings becomes your belief becomes your actions. You take action on what you believe in. And so that is what manifestation is to me. As a woman thinks in her heart, so she is very simple, but it's the reality. Anything that you think consistently over and over again, that's exactly what you become.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot lately is the term imposter syndrome. Like, I never heard, like, I'm sure we've all felt it at some point, but recently I've just been seeing it a lot. Imposter syndrome, especially like amongst women. Why do you ladies feel like women struggle with that internal dialogue and, having imposter syndrome?
I've definitely experienced imposter syndrome. And what I had to learn, which was through Bob Proctor's coaching, is that we have 2 images of ourselves. We have the image on the inside and we have the image on the outside. The one on the outside is how we do our hair and our makeup and how we walk and we talk. But the image on the inside is the true image of ourselves that really shows up on the outside. It's how we really feel about ourselves. And how we feel about ourselves on the inside affects the opportunities that we go after in life. It affects how we interact in our relationships. So there's a lot of people who are, I'm going to say, showing up with their representative, right? Or they don't feel confident inside, but they're pretending, with the mask on the outside, and then they're uncomfortable in situations. So that imposter syndrome, where they don't feel like they deserve to be there. And it's reprogramming our mind, reprogramming it is. And what I had to do, so when my sister passed away in 2012, I was that person who was very insecure, had a lot of, I'm going to say, I had a poor self-image at that point. And I had to reprogram, and I had to take qualities from my sister that I admired and look at other women that are out there that I admired. And I started to emulate those qualities. And that's how I was able to reprogram and create a new self-image for myself. So now when I walk into rooms, I feel way more confident than I did before, because it's not really about who I am pretending to be. It's who I am. It's who I have become.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that a lot of my imposter syndrome came from so when I started my business, I started a business in 2015. It was like, okay, so how is a professional supposed to look? When I started a business, I was 24, I'm about to be 30. So it was like, okay, when I became a coach, how is a life coach supposed to look? What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to say? And then I started meeting other women that were a little bit more chill, laid back. And I'm like, oh, so there are coaches like me, and I have to be like super professional. And I also learned last year that I was kind of hiding like who I was, because I was a coach, and I felt like I did like everything down. For example, I have 11 tattoos. Some of those tattoos are visible. They're not bad tattoos, but most of my tattoos are. So I felt like I had to hide that. And I'm like, I know who I am, and I have to understand that the clients, that I was going to serve, they were going to accept me for the coach that I am. They were going to be drawn to me. So I always affirm, like, I attract the clients, that need this and this and this and this. And those people come to me. Now, the people that don't like coaches with tattoos, or, coaches that cuss, or whatever the case is, like, those clients are just not for me. And I wanted to, once I really started that coaching at the beginning of last year, I just wanted to show up as myself. Like, I want to show up as me. And I felt like that was good. And that was more than enough, because people are literally always drawn to me by my spirit, by my energy, and by the things, that I post. And I never post anything in a particular way. It's just stuff that comes to me, whether it's a dream, whether it's something that I envision. I post to inspire. And I always try to keep it to where people can fully see full picture, like, this is what it is, and I'm taking this information for what it is. I never want to show anything with people, because they always assume that people in this profession have to be like super, super professional. Like, they don't have anything wrong. And I have to tell people, like, we mess up too, but this is how we correct it, how we go on about it. So that would be my example.
Yeah, I love that. And you touched on something that's so important. And I think it's really key to like overcoming imposter syndrome. It's understanding that what's for you will be for you. Like, honestly, like, when you know your value, you don't really care what's coming or going, because whatever it is that you're attracting is meant to stay, and it's meant specifically for you, and whatever it is your purpose or your mission is. So I love that. Chris?
Yeah, so we all know that imposter syndrome is essentially any thought that you don't belong, right? It's that feeling that you're a fraud, regardless of what the evidence shows you. So no matter how successful you've been in the past, your mind tells you, you don't belong here. And there's reason for that. Actually, it's just fear, right? And it's just an indicator that you're headed in the right direction. That's all it is. Imposter syndrome is a fear. We naturally, our bodies, our brains are meant to protect us. And so we show up and feel like imposters when we don't recognize that our brain is just doing its job. It's saying, oh my gosh, you just did something great. You don't deserve this next level. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things that if we learn to master it, it's something that we look at and say, oh, I'm feeling that feeling because I'm heading in the right direction. Oh, I'm feeling that feeling because, I'm feeling that fear. I'm feeling like I don't belong because I do. Right? It's the very thing, because our minds are meant to protect us. That's all. And so most people don't recognize that. And they're like, and they begin to, the issue with imposter syndrome, because again, it's not always a bad thing, is that we allow it to cause us to self-sabotage. right? So we listen to it instead of recognizing that it's a thing that we can use to empower ourselves, that lets us know we're headed in the right direction. And so instead of doing that, we sabotage and say, oh, shoot, I don't. So let me not do the very next thing that I need to level up. Or that's when I start to procrastinate, or that's when I start to do something that is actually going to sabotage the situation, because instead of just taking the fear for what it is and living in the moment and moving forward anyway, I sit in it and let it define my next move. And so you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think, or women in general, especially a lot of the moms that I work with, we have this mindset of, I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom. So I'm a mom of 3. And there's a lot of people who would say you can't, you know, you can't be a wife, right? You can't be a good wife, of course, and a good mom and a successful entrepreneur. Baby, that's a lie. But you know what I'm saying? And so imposter syndrome will set in because society has told me that this is not possible. Right. And so we let all of those things, or what someone else has spoken into us or tried to speak into us in the past, those are the thoughts we let set in. And that's how we end up sabotaging after we experience imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. I love it. You over here preaching. All I'm seeing is just hearts everywhere. Hearts, 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 hearts. And another thing too is like, if you're in the room, if you're sharing spaces and you're getting certain opportunities, there's a reason for that. You know, absolutely. Like, you're there for a reason. You're there because you're great. You're there because you're worthy and you add value to that space. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there.
Right. You can't attract what you're not in harmony with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So limiting beliefs, that's something that is a theme I saw on a lot of you ladies, you know, websites and Instagram feeds, is like the term limiting beliefs. What is the relationship between limiting beliefs and self-sabotage, and how do we identify when we've begun to sabotage ourselves? Like, what are some things that we have to check for to say, you know, I'm holding myself back in this area?
Here's the thing. A lot of our way of being right now as adults stems from our childhood experiences, our childhood traumas, our childhood wounds. And sometimes the experiences that we had as kids, we were basically taught that, you know, our feelings didn't matter, that we weren't enough, or whatever, like however our caregivers made us feel in that moment. But it's like when we get older, we start to attract relationships, and we're in certain environments and certain things are happening where, okay, someone is showing you a different type of love, but then you start to self-sabotage because you're used to feeling a certain way, you're used to, you know, what's an unhealthy type of love or whatever. So it's like that self-fulfilling prophecy where we start seeking that familiar. And it's like, we have to break that cycle. And, you know, I use things like affirmations and working on visualization and actually looking at healthy relationships. I think it was Kristy that said before, where we have to basically look at the identity of who we want to be, or the things that we want. And it's almost like, you know, I've had a history of having narcissistic abusive relationships. So now when I'm looking for healthy love, it's almost like, okay, this feels unfamiliar instead of the familiar, because the familiar was unhealthy, was an unhealthy type of, right? So it's checking that feeling and being aware, that place of self-awareness, to be able to say, okay, I'm actually causing an argument here, or I'm picking at something or doing something to destroy this good thing because I feel like I don't deserve it.
When it pertains to limited beliefs, I always ask people, what are you making this belief mean about yourself? Because literally sometimes beliefs can be things that we kind of make up from our past experiences, past events, situations that might have happened. And sometimes they're literally just lies that we tell ourselves, because it's like, well, this happened, so this got to be true, right? I've never had a successful relationship, so I'm always going to struggle in relationships. That's literally like a limited belief that we have, right? So I always ask people, like, when you say things like that or say that belief out loud to yourself, like, where is that coming from? And what do you have around you that, like, supporting this limited belief? And the biggest question is, what is this limited belief costing you? So no matter what it is, whether it's for her example, if it's, you know, having like a relationship. Like I have everything else, but the healthy, fun, relationship that I want. Think about that limited belief. What is it costing me to continuously hold on to this belief? Because then when we get into dating, or if it says another goal, we get into launching a business, right? We procrastinate on it. We don't have the mindset that we need to actually launch the business. We tend to not have the good habits and behaviors that we need, to see this vision out. So always think about, when it comes to your beliefs, what is this costing me by holding on to this belief? And what's going to happen, once I let it go? But what's going to happen if I don't let it go? And once you can anchor into those feelings of both sides, if I hold on to this, this is what it's going to consistently feel like. If I let this go, let me anchor into this feeling of letting it go and seeing like, okay, I could be in a happy, whole, and healthy relationship. I can be open to date. I can, decide that I want to take me out a day or whatever, whatever the case is. Get into the feeling of, okay, if I let this belief go, this is great. If I don't let it go, this is bad. And then you can decide, okay, what is going to be my new belief from there.
So you have to decide pretty much like what you're going to think. Like, are we going to go this way, or are we going to go that way? So it's a very intentional thing. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The feeling, like we said, like the feeling causes you to take some type of action so you can get some type of result. So if you can understand how you feel around this belief and understand the difference between the two, either way, you're going to take some type of action to get a result.
Right. I love that. Chris?
So what I'll say to answer your question, I think your original question was, how are limited beliefs and self-sabotage connected, and then how do you know when you're sabotaging? And so I'll reverse engineer here. You're sabotaging when you are taking action, but you're not progressing. So you're moving, you're going through the motions, but you're not getting any progress or reaching your goals. And so here's the thing, for the young lady who says she has issues in relationships or with love, right? She might find herself in relationship, but what ends up happening is someone loves her too much. She'll say, there's got to be something wrong with him. There's no way he can really love me like that. And so that's how she sabotages her relationship, right? It's things like that where when you have these limited beliefs, something in your mind telling you you're not worthy of being loved, you're not worthy of being accepted for who you are, or something along those lines, then that's when you'll do things in your relationship that'll make sure they don't get better. Or you'll continue to attract someone who's going to treat you the way you're thinking about yourself. So that's how you sabotage. When you want something, but you're not, and you're taking action, but you recognize, dang, I still didn't get the promotion, but I'm doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm doing stuff to get, but you're not. If you're not making progress after you're taking action, it lets you know that there's something holding you back. And it's most likely a limited belief. One of my coaches is Jim Quick, and he's the #1 brain coach in the world. And so what he calls a limited belief is a lie, L-I-E. It's a limited idea entertained. What does that mean for us? That means that these ideas that are limiting us are things that we get to choose whether or not we entertain them. Right. And so what I do with my clients is we set up, we identify our limiting beliefs by mindfulness. That means sitting with yourself, listening to your thoughts, because we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of the thoughts that we think are the same as they were yesterday. So it would behoove us to take note of our thoughts, recognize what we're thinking, and then begin writing some of those things down. And you'll be, so your limiting belief, like I'm not enough, or I don't have enough time. A lot of moms say, I don't have enough time. If I work on my business today, then I'm sacrificing my relationship with my children and my husband. That's a limited belief. It's a lie, right? And so when you identify all of those things, now you can sit down and look at this, and this, you do this thing, what I call thought prepping. It's just like meal prepping, okay? You have to meal prep to be intentional. If you really want, because we know we can exercise all day, but if we're eating the wrong food, then we're not going to sustain a healthy body or be able to get our abs right, because it's made in the kitchen, right? And so we have to meal prep to make sure when it's time for us to eat and we're hungry, or I'm out somewhere, I have a healthy snack with me versus me stopping at McDonald's, right? That's what meal prepping is. Thought prepping is the same way. I'm going to identify all these negative thoughts, and now I'm going to come up with a new thought for every new For every old negative limited belief, I'm going to come up with a new lasting belief, the one that I really want, and I'm going to keep that with me wherever I go. So anytime I start thinking those thoughts, I've already prepped up I've already thought prepped. I got my list here, and those are the affirmations that I begin to speak over my life instead.
I love that. You just shut those negative thoughts down immediately.
We ain't got time. We ain't got
no
time for
space
that.
them. I love that. Another thing that we often deal with too is perfectionism. And I think Makini, it was on your page. I was like so triggered because I always call myself like a perfectionist. But you said perfectionism is toxic. You said it is toxic. That was the first time I've ever heard anyone call it toxic. Why do you believe it's toxic? And, how is it keeping us further away from our goals?
Because people believe that they have to have things absolutely perfect in order to take action. But that causes them to procrastinate. It causes them to do nothing.
Yeah.
So they start to doubt, and they start to put things on the back burner. And 10 years from now, that book that they wanted to write 10 years ago, they still haven't written because it's not perfect. Meanwhile, they could have wrote 10 books in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So I feel that perfectionism is toxic because it holds people back from actually trying. And in life, we know that we need to actually take action to see any type of results, but then people don't want to take any action, so they don't have any results because they're too concerned in their mind about things being perfect. But we learn through trial and error. We learn through experiencing things, and we get back up when we get knocked back down. So that's why I believe it.
Yes, I agree. I was like, she's talking to me. I think another thing too, and I've said this before I think I said it on the last Career Girl chat that I did, is especially with social media, a lot of us are scared to start small. Like, because social media is pretty much a stage, right? And we're showing everyone like how we're building brick by brick. And we want to come out the gate like everything is perfect, branding on point,
That's not how
on
life
point.
works.
And it's just like, yeah, it's
like babies don't come out walking.
That's true. Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And that's one thing that I had to learn is that, perfectionism, one, it doesn't exist. Because even when you master one level, there's another level that you got to master. And then two, there's beauty in building. And I think that's what's so inspirational when other women could see, how you've built your brand and where you started from. That gives them the motivation to say, yo, if she started from this and this is where she's at, then I can do that too, versus them just seeing all the pretty pictures and the branding and everything. Like, that's great. But I resonate with that grind, that come up story. So yes, thank you for checking me, Makini. Do you ladies want to chime in on perfectionism? Like, have you ladies dealt with it before? How do you deal with it, Kristy?
So honestly, I have never been a perfectionist. And it's because my mom is one, and it drives me insane. This is holding you back from doing so much. To every little detail, when people be like, oh, well, Chris, do you want this or do you want that? I'd be like, I don't care. Like, long as it works, like, that's fine. And like, even if I'm like placing a tablecloth on something, or, the banner is hanging a certain way, I'd be like, is somebody really looking? Like, that's how bad of not a perfectionist I am. They'd be like, oh, it's supposed to be 6 balloons. It's only 4. I'd be like, who cares? Like, but some people might care, but me personally, I don't think and look at stuff like that. Like, when I come in decoration, I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's nice decorations. I'm not looking to see if one string is hanging off of something. Like, I really do not care. But that's just the type of person that I've always been. And especially when it comes down to like events I plan or programs and things like that. And I think that people may be afraid of failure. And to me, failure is not really failure. It's more of an opportunity for you to grow and for you to learn something. So life is supposed to be open. Like, let's open to the possibility of, okay, this might not work out, but maybe this is something greater that's coming open for us. I don't know. But no, I've never been driving me crazy, but I always tell people, like she said, it's literally another form of you procrastinating on what it is that you're exactly supposed to be doing. People are like, oh, I don't have a website or I can't start a business. That's not true. Like, if you have orders, like, just start delivering the orders and build your way up from there, because you're going to keep changing everything regardless, especially with branding. You're literally changing branding like every couple of months. Logos, colors, fonts, website design, everything is constantly changing. You just have to be changing with it and shift to what's happening in your industry or your business.
Yeah, evolve.
Yes.
Evolve.
Okay, so I'm the exact opposite of that, Kristy. Kristy, my name's Kristy too. I don't know if you knew that.
I saw that.
Okay, so I'm the exact opposite of that, Kristy. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to help you with this one. Okay, I am an Enneagram perfectionist. Literally, that's the title for my. If you guys do the personality test, it's called an Enneagram. It's my title is perfectionist. Okay, and I've lived my whole life like that, and it's true. Like Makina and Kristy has said, like, it can be extremely toxic, but I'm all because I think that as women, or just as people in general, in order for us to be able to evolve, we have to accept ourselves as is. And so I'm all about the reframe, and I'm all about self-acceptance. If I'm a perfectionist based on this test, then now I have to accept the fact that I'm something that's not good. That would be saying that I'm toxic. So this is what I chose to do as my reframe. Being a perfectionist just means that I operate in excellence. Now, I do understand that there's no such thing as perfect. And so instead of saying that I'm a perfectionist, I say I operate in excellence. I just know my limits. I know what I can and can't control. And there's a prayer. I literally have it tattooed on my back. It says, I have serenity, courage, and wisdom. It's called the Serenity Prayer. And it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. That means give me peace to accept the things that I cannot change. Give me the courage to accept the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right?
Yes.
And so if I know that I can't change something, for example, when she mentioned that balloon, if there's supposed to be 6 balloons, we're going to have 6 balloons, okay? All right, so we're gonna have 6 balloons, and the string is gonna be like to the side or whatever, how it's supposed to be. We gonna get it how it's supposed to be. But if the wind is blowing, I can't control the wind. So now I'm not gonna be mad over what I can't control, but I can promise you, when I first put it up, it was how it was supposed to be. Okay, all right. So I love me, and I love that. I love things to be perfect, but really I love things to be excellent. And so Anna, don't make yourself feel bad, or anybody else who struggles with this, because I know so many people do. And it can be very limiting. It can be very toxic. There is no such thing as a perfect relationship. There is no such thing as a perfect person or a perfect child or a perfect business. There's no such thing as that. But it is okay to operate in excellence and know that you can only manage what you can manage, and do just that.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing that I've learned, and I've taught the other women that I mentor, is like, done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it has to get done. And that time that you're spending sitting there dwelling on shoulda, coulda, woulda, that time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well just do it and get it done. Right. You can figure out the rest later. But those 6 balloons will be there.
They're going to be there. You're going to get 6 balloons today. Okay.
So before we go into some quotables that you ladies have that I want you to break down for me, do you have any additional tips on ways that we can practice just staying within a healthy mindset, a growth mindset on a day-to-day basis? I know you mentioned, Chris, for every negative or limiting belief that you have, make sure you have that positive belief right there so that you could shut it down. But are there any other things that you ladies do with your clients or even in your personal lives just to stay within that mind frame just on a daily basis? We want to switch it up. Kristy Love. Makini's like, I'm tired of going first.
So I focus in on things that I want to see happen in my life. So I have different like Pinterest boards for me. I like visuals. So anything that I'm working on manifesting, or it's a goal of mine, I'm consistently looking at it on a day-to-day basis. I'm focused in on what it is that I want. A statement that I always say in meditation, or when I see something that I want, I always say I am that I am, with me becoming this or me having this, or, you know, whatever the case is. Also, for people that may just, I know a lot of people are kind of just getting into meditation. Guided meditations are a little bit easier than kind of just starting off like by yourself, because they guide you to think a certain way or think about the desires or whatever it is that you have. So it's kind of taking you step by step from what you need to do. Also, only well, not only, I would say solely read, watch, listen, engage with things that are pertaining to what it is that you are in the process of manifesting, or whatever goal it is that you're looking to achieve. So my example was always, okay, I wanted to manifest a healthy, whole relationship. So if friends or somebody around me are talking about how men always cheat, how men do this, if they are talking about that, it's not in alignment with it is with what I want. Or if I'm looking to hit a goal for my business and I'm hanging around people that talk about how they are always broke, I never have any money, I'm always doing this, I never win this, I'm not lucky, it's not in alignment. I need to solely see and focus on what it is that I'm trying to hit. And when I say it takes some time, because you got to remove some things, even the things that you listen to, the things that you watch, the things that you read. I have to keep myself in constant alignment with what it is that I want. And I have to move some people, remove some things. It's not the easiest thing to do, but wait until you see the results, because you are constantly programming your mind with what it is that you want each and every single day. And my last is what is this app called? I think it's called Loop. There's an app called Loop, and you can literally record like an affirmation. And I recorded like last month. I just started doing it. I recorded an affirmation, and it just played, and it's my voice. So it plays over and over again. I listen to it at nighttime. I listen to it like maybe when I'm cleaning, because I find myself saying it in my mind. So now what I'm saying is becoming programmed within the subconscious. So those are some of the tips that I always give to people: that meditation, reading, watching, just being mindful of what I'm taking into my spirit and into my mindset.
Yes, I love that. Chris.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll try to share something different. For me, I think one of the greatest things that you can do, I actually have a workbook. It's called 6 Steps to Mastering Your Day, a daily success guide for ambitious women. And essentially, I go over my 6-step process for how you need to approach your day. And it's the acronym SPREAD. Often as women, we tend to spread ourselves too thin. And so because of that, because we're overwhelmed, because we're we're dealing with all this because we do too much, right? And so we want to be intentional about how we're addressing our day each and every day. And so I came up with this acronym, and it all starts with gratitude. Okay, before I even get started to the S, it starts with gratitude. I think that's the most powerful feeling or emotion that we could experience. If you think about it, even if you think about a moment right now where you experience a tragedy, right? If you take yourself back there at this very moment, it could be a loss of a person or a job or something like that. If you take yourself back there and then you begin to think, what if I would have focused on what I was grateful for? Like grateful for the moment that I had with them while they were still alive, or grateful for, what that job did provide me, or grateful now that job was stressing me out anyway. I can have some doggone peace and start over, right? Gratitude will completely shift your mood no matter what it is. All right. And if you're already feeling happy, it's just going to elevate that. But if you're feeling anger, or if you're feeling sadness or disappointment, those emotions immediately go away, because you can't feel those and gratitude at the same time. They're very contradictory. Your mind, brain, body won't even let you do it. And so waking up in a spirit of gratitude, and even if you wake up, first of all, I have a newborn. So I'm not always waking up grateful because I'm waking up to, you know, like, and I have a 3-year-old who, if my baby's not crying, she's trying to wake up and hop in the bed in the middle of me and my husband talking about something, I want to lay with you. And I'm like, no, go get in your bed. And then I have a 9-year-old who knows she has to do her chores before she gets on her tablet, but she can get on her tablet at 8 o'clock. And so if I'm still in the bed because I'm grown and I could just sleep as long as I want to, if I want to do that, which I don't always sleep that late. But if that's the case and she come in my door while I'm still trying to sleep because it's time for her to get on her tablet, that stuff does not make me happy. So I don't want to wake up to that. I'm not grateful all the time when it happens. But because I have this practice, after I get attitude, I can calm myself down by saying, oh, I'm so grateful my kids are alive today. I'm so grateful that, you know, I have my husband laying here next to me. I'm so grateful that we all have our health today. Oh, I'm grateful for my beautiful home that I manifested. Oh, I'm so grateful for the sun coming through my window. And that is what starts me off, making sure I'm having a good day. And then I begin to say those affirmations. And it's what Kristy said in terms of those I am statements. Very powerful. So there's this guy named Glenn Lundy, and he hosts this show, Breakfast with Champions, on Clubhouse. And I'm always at the table with him. And so it's awesome because one of the things in his book, The Morning Five, he talks about setting goals with I am. So I say, I am a multi-millionaire coach. I am a world-renowned transformational speaker. And those are the things that I say, although they're my goals, right? I say my goals instead of my goal is to make $100,000 this year or $50,000, whatever your goal is. Instead of saying that, is I am a multi-millionaire earner, or I am a, you know what I'm saying? I am a person who earns at least $100,000 a year. So those I am statements. But like I said, my 6-step process is spread, and it is one of those things that I had to learn to apply every single day so that I can master each day intentionally. I guess one of the things that I'll share is like define your why. Every single day, I have to make sure I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. If my goal for that day is to exercise, because mine is, because I got my 6-week approval last week. And so I've been on the Peloton 5 days in a row. And so my goal is to be in the best shape of my life. One of the reasons is because recently, or for the last few weeks, we were my son Alexander the Greatest got some poor screening, some test results that really were very scary, and he has been back and forth in the hospital. Although he's not having any bad symptoms, basically they were telling us that he might have something called arginase deficiency. With that, essentially, it's possibly a fatal a genetic condition. All right. And so I'm freaking out. But I'm building my business. I'm launching my workbook. I'm building my e-course. I'm relaunching my coaching program. I can't focus on those things. And so my why became, at that moment when I thought I could lose my son, the Holy Spirit told me to celebrate life. And so that's my why. I am waking up today with gratitude and I'm operating in intention because I'm creating a life that I want to be able to celebrate every single day. Yeah. I want to be happy with everything that's around me, in my relationships, with my bank account, with the people that I'm serving. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. When you define your why every day, yes, it gets a little pep in your step. I will say the doctor's called today and we got the genetics test results and he does not have this deficiency. And so the God is so good. Okay. God is so good. But you know, it was scary, but I was not sitting and living in fear. Yeah. I was moving forward anyway. And remembering, for as long as I do have him, he going to experience some good, he going to have this good old breast milk. He going to have this happy mama. You know what I'm saying? All the things that we're going to celebrate life starting now. Yes. And you know what I'm saying? And so that's how you master your day. And I think that's the D. Yeah. The end of spread is define your why. You do that every single day, and I promise you'll operate differently.
Amen. 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 I love that. And I'm so happy to hear that he's doing good. Like, oh my goodness. That just made my heart so warm. But I love that because we're always like, you know, especially for women that are like really ambitious, we're always chasing like the next thing.
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's so important just to live in that present moment. You know, it's great to have goals, but what do you have right now? You
Right.
know, like I started doing these career girl chats in my little 500 square foot apartment. I mean, I'm in New York City, right? So my kitchen, my office, and my living room used to all be
Don't
in the
call
same
it
room.
little, girl. That's a big old nice apartment in New York
Oh
City
well,
that a lot of other people ain't got.
yeah, that's the thing. But I literally manifested, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where I live now, and I wake up every
Yes.
morning, and I'm like, I love it. Like when I started this, it wasn't where I was, but I didn't care because I was doing something that I loved, and I knew that and I was grateful for it. And I think that when you do have that grateful spirit, like you said earlier, McKinney, like you are, like those things will come to you. Like when you're thankful for what you already have, those blessings will come to you, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that's so important, just to live in that present moment and be grateful for the things that you have. Because like you said, you know, once you lose it, you can't, you know, you can't get it back. You know, if it's a human being or if it's a job, you know, it may take you a longer time to get it back or whatever have you. But just being grateful for what you do have definitely does make the ride, you know, in your mindset a lot easier. McKinney, any additional tips on how to have a healthy mindset day to day?
I mean, I absolutely agree with everything both Kristy and Kristy said. I mean, for myself personally, I have, I'm going to say, morning routines and evening routines. So for me, the results are in the routine, right? The small things that we do every single day that build that compound interest. Like, so we, as people, we think in pictures. We're visual people, right? So when Kristy was talking about visualizing, people don't realize how important that is for you to be able to see a thing. Like, you know, sometimes there's clients that come in, they don't even know what they want for themselves. And it's like, well, if you can't picture that, then how do you expect someone else to help you? So if I were to say the word car, you can visualize what your car looks like, right? So I have to be very intentional about the life that I want. So I visualize very big on, you know, people will talk about vision boards, but it's not just about cutting out everything that you see in a magazine and just pasting it onto a board. Does that actually connect with the vision that you want for your life? Because if you're not emotionally connected to that thing, then you're not going to manifest that, right? So I'm very, very big on visualization. Kristy also mentioned loop, which is another thing that I recommend to my clients. When you are saying affirmation and when you are saying them in the present tense, once you know what you want, you visualize it, and you write out what you want in present tense, as in the right now, and you are saying it in your own voice, and it's on that loop going through your head, you are constantly hearing yourself. So whether you presently believe it, you will start to believe it because it's going to seep into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fact or fiction, right? So whatever you continuously pour into it, it begins to believe that. So when I wake up in the morning, it's the visualization, it's the prayer, it's the meditation, which definitely helps to calm my nervous system because I struggle with anxiety. Practicing gratitude actively. And when I say actively, you know, some people will just say things that they're grateful for. I created my gratitude journal because it forces me every single day to get into the habit of getting into the feeling of what I'm grateful for. And when you start to connect the feeling to it, that's when you start to lift your vibration. So every thought that we have, whether you have a positive thought or negative thought, it sets off a reaction within your body, a chemical reaction. So if you are thinking about positive things, it's setting off that lifts your vibration. It helps your body to feel better. But if we are, you know, constantly having these negative thoughts and thinking unhealthy or bad things, then it starts to affect your body. So because I struggle with an autoimmune disorder and my body was constantly under attack and I was constantly feeling pain and all kinds of things, when I set into practice and made it a daily part of my routine to be writing in my gratitude journal, like it's been probably at least 3 years since I've had a flare up with my autoimmune disorder. So it's like I am making sure intentionally every day that I am like not only just writing down what I'm grateful for, but getting into that feeling, that vibration of being grateful for everything that I have right now. When Kristy was talking about, yeah, you may not always wake up, you know, in the highest vibration, but when you sit down and you start to look around at what you have, like I woke up this morning, I have sight. Some people wake up, they don't have sight. You know, I was able to walk out of my room and into another room in my house. I have 2 feet. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, being in that space where, you know, sometimes we feel like we have to be grateful for these big, extravagant things, and that's not necessarily true. But just, I guess, it's in the routine, morning and night. Like, you know, my nighttime routine, making sure I actually have sufficient sleep every night, because oftentimes people, they can be on the hustle and grind for 24 hours and talk about, you know, I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, that
If you
doesn't
don't
work.
sleep,
Your
you
body
gonna
needs
die.
time to reset.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Your body needs time to
Yeah.
reset.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I have my sufficient sleep, set my boundaries. So morning routine.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, ladies, what courses or services are you currently offering, and how can people touch base with you if they are interested in your services? I'll start with you, Chris.
Yeah, so I got a lot going on. I just relaunched or reopened my coaching program because I actually stopped coaching while I was pregnant back in July of last year. And so I just relaunched my coaching program. I have 2 spots left for my Renewed Life Experience program. It's my evergreen signature program where I walk through rethink, transform. Okay, in each of those, it's a transformational experience. But in the renew part of our program, is I help women to rediscover themselves, to build self-awareness in a brand new way, and to really define what they want themselves to look like moving forward. Okay, and in the rethink, that's when we do all things mindset. For the next 4 weeks, we go over all of the things that are limiting you, understanding where those things came from, uprooting them by putting those thoughts on trial, and then creating new habits, and understanding all of the different tools and techniques that you can use for your mindset to be able to manifest what you desire. And the last part of that 4 week program, so it's 12 weeks total, is the transform part. And this is amazing because once you get to know yourself better, you can love yourself better. Once you understand how your mind works, you have the power to create anything. But the very last thing in the transformation part is we go over your habits, right? And so with that, we begin to address your current habits and create those things and those strategies and set those goals and the plan that you're going to need to be able to manifest those things over the next few years or whatever your desired goals are. But the reason I call it an evergreen program is because the process that I take the women through that I coach in this program, it can be used for anything. Mm-hmm. So right now, I might need to rediscover myself because I'm going into a new career. Or I need to rediscover myself because I've been a mom, a stay-at-home mom all these years, and I don't even know what it's like to be anything else but that. And so it's this evergreen program that you can use, and it helps you to learn how to coach yourself in every new season of your life. So that's my Renew Life Experience program. You can check me out on all social media at Chris Speaks Life. Chris Speaks Life, and then that's my website as well, chrisspeakslife.com. You can see that I am coming out with a group coaching program, but that's like you have to join the wait list. That's probably August. I have e-course coming out in July. It's called Get Your Mind Right. It's helping ambitious moms to build confidence and success. That's going to be coming out in July. And then right now, totally available is my 6 Steps to Mastering Your Day. That's my e-workbook that any woman can use to master her day with intention. So those are all my things. And yeah, check out my website, hit me up on Instagram, or catch me in the clubhouse hallways at Chris Speaks Life.
All right. And Kristy Love, what are you currently offering? How can prospective clients get in touch with you?
So actually last month I launched my new 10-week program, which is Kristy Fix My Mind. As of last week, we are officially sold out. So right now I'm still taking clients, but I'm doing 90-minute sessions. And so I'm launching I'm relaunching a program that I launched last July around my birthday. So that those details will be going out soon. But right now I'm taking minute sessions. My whole focus is to help individuals really just get out of survival mode, because a lot of us are living in the cycle of just going through the motions, just barely getting by, living paycheck to paycheck, just not waking up feeling like today is going to be one of the best days of my life. And that's the saying that I always say is even tattooed here on my arm. But I always say today is going to be one of the best days of my life. And I help the clients to kind of just identify, if today was a great and amazing day, what are some things that you would want to experience? What are the things that you would want to feel? So take that to help you get out of survival mode. And then I'm also launching a nonprofit for fall. Well, actually, it's kind of launching like right now, but it's closer to fall. So where I work with lower serve communities to help them actually get out of survival mode through giving them finance coaching, providing them with housing resources, food resources, health resources, and just helping them to check off the steps of where they need to go. So you guys obviously can follow me on my Instagram, Kristy Love, 2_. My website is thekristilove.com.
All right, Makini.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what was going on. So in terms of finding me, you can find me on my website, walkinmystilettos.com. All my socials, either Makini Smith or Walking My Stilettos. In terms of the coaching sessions that are available, so the mindset coaching sessions, I have a couple of one-on-one spots still left for the Walking in Your Greatness. I use, because I was certified through Bob Proctor's company, I use Bob Proctor's systems with 60 years plus of proven success principles. It's a combination of both personal development and business development. And each session is designed to look at your individual habits and breaking them down and getting you to take action and consistency to actually reprogram your behavior. And then in terms of, because the entire brand is really about owning your stories. So with the publishing side, I offer self-publishing packages, and it's not just through Amazon. It basically allows your book to be published on a catalog of 40,000 different online school stores and libraries that includes the big name stores, you know, Walmart, Target, Barnes and Nobles, and Amazon, so on and so forth. So that you can continue to own your story and create impact and build prosperity and legacy. And I do the same as well with podcasting, because my podcast, although I started less than 3 years ago, it has currently been ranked globally in the top 2% of most popular podcasts listened to in the world. So I've been teaching others to create their own podcasts successfully, so that they can do everything that I do in terms of, you know, continuing to share their story and to build their brand. So I offer group sessions with the podcasting coaching. And at the end of the month, we're coming out with some new programs to help people focus more on time management and starting up their small businesses.
I have nothing left to say. This is the end of my season 2. Anyone that's following me, please don't ask me when season 3 is coming. I need a break. I need a break. I've been doing this for 4 straight months since February. This is my 16th episode. So I'm just so appreciative, and my heart is so full. So thank you, ladies. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Kristy, make sure you get something to eat. And let's all stay connected. I really did enjoy this conversation, and thank you to everyone that's watching and supporting. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Anna. It was nice to meet you, ladies. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye, ladies. Bye, Alex.